Okay, all right. Welcome to the meeting for April 17th today for the Madison County Parks and Recreation Board. We were disappointed we had to cancel the last meeting, but obviously the events of the night before made everybody's lives pretty tricky that next day, so we just thought it'd be simplest. So anyway, yeah, we'll start with roll call.
Nancy Anderson, Tom Bannon, Rob Wolfgang,
Here.
Vice President Rachel Christensen, here, President Ben Orcutt.
Here. All right. We need to approve our agenda as the next thing, so assuming we've all had a little look at it.
Can I make 2 changes on the agenda?
Okay.
Those 2 changes on the agenda. First of all, the compensation statement, we're going to pull that until the next meeting because we don't do attorney credits in the here.
Okay.
And then secondly, under new business, we discuss the secretary for position.
Oh, sure, of course. That's fine. Easy. All right. You said under new business you want the secretary? Cool. All right. Well,
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda changes as discussed.
I'll second.
all right. All in favor of approving the amended agenda? Say aye.
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 Aye. None opposed? All right. Agenda is here. Minutes from last meeting. They're not included in our packet here. Or wait, are they on yours?
They're in there.
The March 6th now.
Mine only has 2 pages, not 3. I got them now. Did anybody see anything dramatic that we need to update from the last meeting? No. All right. Well, I would accept or entertain a motion to approve minutes.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes.
I'll second.
All right. All in favor of approving the minutes?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. None opposed? Minutes approved. All right. On to old business. Yeah, talk about the White River Greenway project.
Sure. So with the White River Greenway project, just an update on where we are. The study being performed by Madison is
Turn that mic up a little bit so we can hear you faster, please.
Yeah, because we can't hear you.
Usually I don't have it.
Can you hear me now at all?
Yes.
Okay. Sorry about that. My apologies. The study with Burgess and Nyepel is proceeding on schedule. We're working towards evaluating different options for corridors and then also for what to do with the initial funds that were appropriated by the county for the first project. I know we have some new people in the room, so I'll just kind of, if you don't mind, give a little update on what they're looking at. We know the 8th Street corridor and the White River corridor is very busy. There's a lot happening on there. We know there's a lot of homes there that have access to the water, and the intent is not to take away from anyone. So we're looking at what can be done and how something could be done potentially in a way that would minimize impacts on people to the extent possible. What that looks like, we're not sure yet because they're still in the process of evaluating it. But some different options that are being evaluated are looking at 8th Street itself and how that could be reconstructed and modified the cross-section of it to include appropriate facilities to expand, to make it safer for people who are walking or biking, or also to look at corridors along the waterways, knowing that, you know, there's already existing homes in the area, existing private facilities in the area, and certainly not with the intent of impeding on any of that. Also looking at what it would look like as far as a beginning point and an end point, and then just from a big picture standpoint, environmentally, what's out there that could be impacted or addressed. So looking at from different perspectives, and the intent then is to have concepts for all of those different scenarios prepared in the next month or so for some internal vetting, and then ready to be shared publicly probably in June. And then the thought is that that would then correlate with the BOT, which is the build, operate, transfer opportunity that is going through that process right now. That is an alternative procurement methodology that communities have to be able to work through infrastructure projects. Where we are on that process, we have received proposals, and then the next step is to appoint a committee to review those proposals, selection committee. And typically the selection committee would be individuals who are engaged in the boards and who are intimately involved in the project. So that would be what I would ask of you today, is to consider forming that committee.
Can we back up just a couple more steps too?
Sure.
Can you talk about just give a really brief overview about how this is part of our comprehensive plan and how that,
You're really good at testing me today, aren't you?
sorry, I just think it would be good for the public.
I wear hearing aids and I'm still having problems.
I just asked Jessica if she can, sorry, I didn't realize that wasn't on. Now you guys can hear me. Jeez. That makes a difference. I asked
Can't
if,
hear any of it from up here.
No. I asked Jessica if she could give us just a little bit more background on the project, because this is one that it came out of our 5-year comprehensive master plan. That is one of the first projects that we are moving forward with.
Sure. Can you hear me if I talk into the microphone? Okay. Yell at me when I don't talk into the microphone, because I'm not good at this. So back in 2020, I believe, Madison County Council of Governments began to work on the comprehensive plan. I think it was 2020.
Okay.
Do you know when it was?
It was, I think it was 2019.
It might have been 2019. It was before I came to work at the county, so I apologize if I don't know the exact year. Madison County Council of Governments, that is the planning organization that oversees things in Madison County, they began to update the comprehensive plan for the county. The purpose of the comprehensive plan is to look at our community and identify areas that we need to strengthen. Where are the gaps in the community? And focus in on, laying a framework for the direction of the community to move forward over a given time frame. Rachel indicated it was a 5-year plan. I think it may have been longer than that. But in any case,
I was
it's
trying to
updated regularly.
I was maybe asking more about the 5-year parks and recreation master plan. Sorry.
So from the comprehensive plan, a number of different ideas came about that were things that they recommended that the county move forward with. One of those was developing a county parks and recreation department. And the purpose of that is to look at how to build off of and complement the parks and recreation infrastructure that's already existing in Madison County in a way that it helps to improve the overall quality of life for the county, helps with improving wellness opportunities, health of the people, connectivity in opportunities that are safer, as far as for people who don't use motor vehicles as their primary transportation. So people who run or walk or ride bikes, looking at different opportunities like that. So when the county leadership was looking at spending the ARPA funds, one of the ideas that came about was to develop a master plan to identify whether or not this was a viable opportunity, forming a parks department, and then what that department should focus on, if that was the recommendation. So that started back in 2022, the fall of 2022, and we worked with a consulting firm to do an extensive outreach effort across the county. They did surveying, and they did focus groups and stakeholder meetings, steering committee meetings, and attended several different festivals, talked to people, and then looked at what we have in the county right now, and as far as with this, in the cities and towns, and then what gaps exist in the county, and what could be a potential way to fill those gaps. At the same time, they also looked at the state as a whole, and they looked at what trends we're seeing across the state as far as recreational opportunities, natural spaces, and so forth. And the big trend that we are missing in Madison County is trails and connectivity. And when we say trails, we use that term, but it doesn't necessarily mean trails like you would see at Mounts Park. It can mean trails along roadways that are essentially sidewalks that are usable by more than just pedestrians. And so what we have in Madison County, or what we don't have in Madison County, is the ability to, in a safe manner, travel in using other modes of transportation other than vehicles. And that is the big glaring area that's missing in Madison County. And so that's where the master plan that Rachel recommended outlined a potential system of trails and multi-purpose corridors and sidewalks and so forth to provide that connectivity. The commissioners and the ARPA leadership team then decided to appropriate an amount of funds to start the first project within that master plan. And then they approved forming this board and moving forward with the Parks Department and so forth. So the question about whether we have anything in place right now, no, we don't, because this is all very new. And that is where we're moving forward now. I think the overreaching goal is to have options for people to get from places to place in safe manner. Is that fair to say?
Without a vehicle.
Without being in a vehicle, yes. And that's where we're looking at different options and opportunities. The White River Corridor is a high focus area of the state, not just Madison County. Providing connectivity and access and preserved areas and so forth along that corridor has been a very big state objective for a long time. And so that's where this first initial project of the Parks Department has come about.
That's good.
What am I missing?
No, I think you did a great job, Jess. Thank you.
I have a question.
We're not going to do public input quite yet. Let us get our business, and then I think we can take comment with that.
So the request that I have for you is with the BOT, we need a committee to review and make recommendations and enter into negotiations on that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. How many do you need for the committee?
That is flexible.
Okay.
Want to just include the whole board?
Yes? Yeah, we can do that then.
And then, obviously Jessica, and then Jason Taylor from Burgess and Nyepel, who's been working on the plan so far, would be appropriate. Am I off? My light's on. Now I'm off. I'm on, maybe. Oh, are we
There
coming
we
back? Okay, all right. So I think we're having a discussion about who ought to be included here. Jessica obviously would be a useful team member, even though she's not on this board. Jason Taylor was the other name I mentioned. He's one of the designers that we've been working with, through Burgess and Nyepel through this planning process, so he's been involved in the whole thing so far. Should we just, I don't know if I should make a recommendation. I'd be open to a recommendation from somebody else on the board.
I can make a motion that we establish that committee with the Madison County Park Board members, plus Jessica Baston and Jason Taylor.
And you might consider having Jessica and Jason as non-voting members.
Correct. Yes.
Oh, sure.
I mean, I would want Jeff Graham to review things too.
Yeah,
County attorney. So, but the committee would be.
You can have him as a non-voting member if you want to, but he would obviously be involved as well.
Yeah. That's my motion.
Second, discussion?
I'll second the motion.
Okay, very good. Yeah, so just to create a BOT committee here, including the Parks Board members as well as Jessica Bastion and Jason Taylor as non-voting members. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? No? Motion
No.
carries.
And I do just want to make sure we understand that since we are having the board do it, if there is a quorum, we would be publicly advertising.
So I talked with Jeff about that. It needs to be done in executive session because the companies that have submitted on this have submitted proprietary information.
Understood.
And
Okay.
so then that would happen. And the way the process works, let me make sure everyone understands that. The way the process works is that as this committee goes through that review and then selects an offer to negotiate with, once you get to the point where you have an agreement drafted, so to speak, then there is a public hearing to provide public notice and information, present the plan, and At that point, then you receive feedback from the public and then determine how to move forward.
Very good.
Very good.
And that's all very rigidly outlined by state code. That's not something we're making up.
Step by step.
Yeah.
Okay, next element on the agenda here, Thriving Communities Update. Brief touch here maybe. But.
Sure, I can do that unless you want to. Go ahead. Go ahead. So with the Thriving Communities Program, if you recall, we are working in the South Madison area on conceptualizing a Fall Creek corridor. That is done through the State Department of Transportation, through the capacity building opportunity that they have provided us. We are working towards setting up a couple of different workshops for stakeholders to get engaged and provide feedback. Hopefully one is coming in May, I believe we have it scheduled for now. And there's a targeted group that is being engaged to provide some input in that, and then rolling into a couple of other opportunities for broader public involvement and public engagement.
That's South Madison
That
County.
is South Madison, correct.
Mostly in
Correct.
terms of focus.
So the goal there is to connect Ingalls to Pendleton to Marpleville.
Yeah, it's the Fall Creek Greenway.
Yes.
Yeah,
All right.
yeah. No, it's been moving along. The meetings have been really good, and I am excited to see what moves forward with that. So,
Staff report, action plan.
So before that, though, we have to discuss the board secretary.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
You made that note and I skipped right over it.
That's okay. So Jalen has changed roles. She's been promoted into a different role, and so I'm asking for your consideration to appoint Leanne Miller to as the board secretary. Leanne works on my team. She is the office manager for the engineering department, and she's really great. So happy to answer any questions you have about her, or if she would like to say anything. I'm guessing no, knowing her. Or if you have any questions for her.
you don't want to give a speech or anything? No? Okay. Let's make the motion to appoint Leanne as our board secretary.
I'll second.
All right. All in favor of voting Leanne to be our secretary?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? No. Very good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. And then as far as staff report, I've really already given the staff report that I have. We can do a more in-depth staff report at the next regularly scheduled board meeting. And at that time, we are going to have the Hoosier Environmental Council present.
Do that presentation. That was planned for the last meeting.
Yes.
Yeah.
Very good.
Great.
Okay.
If we want to take a few minutes, we're definitely open to a little, if anybody has questions or comments that they'd like to present. Sir, if you wanted to step to the microphone, I'd be happy to.
Yes. Back to the,
We'll have to have you come up to the microphone. We want to hear you just like you hear us.
do that.
We'll need to sign in too. I didn't bring a sign in sheet.
I'm Don Zalakar, and I live at 5012 West 8th Street Road. And I have a plethora of comments, but I'll just save it to a few. One, I'd like to know which side of the river you're planning on surveying and looking at for this walkway.
Both, all of the above. We're looking at the north side of the river, the south side of the river, 8th Street Road. We're investigating a very wide corridor to understand where the obvious blocks are, what doesn't make sense, and we'll be able to eliminate those from the process and then start to get a more specific. And that's what Burgess and Kneippel, and that's what these plans that we've been working through over the past number of months is exactly what they're doing.
Has this been an ongoing expense to run this program through?
It's a contract that we signed with Burgess and Kneippel, so it's a lump sum fee that we agreed to pay them to do this project.
Okay, so their analysis is not free. Their analysis
Correct.
is going to cost us.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yep.
Okay. As far as policing this, who's going to police the safety and security of either side of this?
It would be the jurisdiction that governs whatever section it falls in. So we are planning for unincorporated Madison County, so it would be the county sheriff's department that would be looking at that.
The reason I'm asking that is because I don't want to hear a yes, we're going to secure it and make sure everybody's safe, and then 2 years down the road, it's not in the budget. I think that if we're gonna do this, and I'm not in favor of it, and I'm keeping an open mind. But if we're gonna do this, it needs to be in the bylaws that it has to stay in the budget for security. I don't want to hear 2 years down the road, well, it's not in the budget anymore. No, I want to cast in granite that it will be secured.
We really are working hard to build a plan that will not only security but maintenance of the infrastructure itself. We are definitely building a plan to make sure that this is a piece of infrastructure that everybody can enjoy for a long time.
And I think we have to make it clear that security from that aspect, if it's part of the sheriff's duties of providing safety in Madison County, that's not necessarily a line item that we would have for control over.
That coordination. I mean, we've already been having those discussions in terms of with the sheriff department, with the county health department, with there's lots of people that are very interested in this project. There's a lot of potential, benefits. Infrastructure, transportation is one way we're looking at this. Health is another big one. So there's a lot of pieces to the puzzle.
Well, I've heard this is going on for 5 years.
I'm sorry?
Not to this extent, no. So a county parks department has been talked about for about 10 years.
Okay.
As far as the White River corridor, that's happened since December of last year. So it started big and it's filtered into this project where we are now. To your point about security, one thing that I want to mention that they didn't mention is that is one of the key items that's being considered by our consultant firm. Believe me, we recognize that it's not necessarily desirable to have a trail in backyards of a populated area. I mean, we understand those concerns and certainly appreciate hearing them as well, but it's not, it is definitely being taken into consideration.
Okay, now, to the best of my knowledge, and I can't speak for everybody in here, and I don't speak for anybody but me and my family, but the south side is full of houses that are backed up anywhere from, well, I'm about 15 feet from the edge of the river, not the water, because I'm at the highest point, and I'm in the corner. And as the river comes through me from this way, it cuts my property a little bit every year. Now, the river never stays the same. If you've lived on the river, you know exactly what I'm talking about. But when you take that center point, is the center point from the middle of the river 10 feet over, or is it from the edge of the water 10 feet up? How are you going to determine how much, if you go on the south side, how are you going to determine that I'm not going to lose my barn, my garage, half of my septic tank or septic system, because I had to put in a finger system, because you can't dump in the river anymore. And I say anymore because it used to be that way. So I had to spend thousands of dollars. And you come in there and you come back 30 feet, you're cutting half my garage out, you're cutting half of my $40,000 barn, and who's going to pay for that? Are you going to reimburse me for that?
I would say we're doing a study, so these are things that will come up in that study that the board will have to consider.
I understand that. That's a way to start the issue.
No, I'm not done talking.
If it does go on the south side, are you going to reimburse us?
Yes, there is property acquisition if there is property acquisition that would have to happen, which is not necessarily the route we would want to go. But if we're using federal standards especially, there are processes that have to be gone through to reimburse the property owners. Absolutely. There's no just taking of people's property or land without a compensation happening.
Oh, then this is a no-brainer. Why are we here? Just go to the north side because there's nobody over there.
That is probably what the study will show.
Actually, no.
That's where we're headed.
Actually, I think, because you're talking about east of, tell me where your house was again, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
What was your address again? I'm trying to visualize where you are.
508th Street Road. That's my house.
Yeah, so the other thing to take into consideration is we're looking at 8th Street as well. It's not necessarily going to be at the river, okay? In that area, there's a very high likelihood that it will be a trail along the existing roadway as opposed to along the river. Because the goal is not to impede on your existing homes back that are up against the river and what you have back along the river. But you have to remember that that is one of the most dangerous stretches of roadway in our county.
Oh, I know.
So I'm sure you all know who live
We all
along
know.
it. So we're looking at how we can improve the safety of that road. Okay, so if, at the risk of making a prediction, there's a very high likelihood that the stretch where your houses are, it's going to be more along the road as opposed to along the river.
So you're referring to a sidewalk, like
Similar
a
to
4-foot sidewalk?
Similar to,
Separate.
but different, yes.
Yeah, a wider
the same
than normal
concept.
sidewalk, but a sidewalk. depth.
Conceptual, yes. There's a high possibility of that.
Okay.
That's part of why we're having them look at it, because you have to look at it from different perspectives to help us understand what would be the best improvement for overall in the area that
Okay.
would impact those of you who live there the least.
I understand. I totally understand, but is there going to be a meeting on our options?
Yes.
I mean, before we vote on, okay, because I want to attend that meeting
Yeah.
and find out what has been said, north, east,
Yeah.
south, west, wherever. Where's it going to start? Where's it going to end?
All right.
Yeah,
That's what
we're
we don't
asking
know
those
yet either.
questions too.
Yeah, I have.
Our general,
Perkinsville's a long way
It
from my
is.
house.
And we want to make sure our budget goes as far as we can to make the best improvements we can that make the biggest difference. And so if one of the options is having to buy your barn and your property and it's going to cost us a ton of money, that's not helping our purpose and cause of safety and connectivity. So we want to make sure we're taking into
Well, I
account.
totally understand.
Yeah.
I'm just wanting clarity and be on the record.
Yeah.
That's all.
No, I think that
Very
sounds good. Thank you.
Thank you for your listening to me.
Appreciate it. Jess, do we have another meeting scheduled?
We have a meeting scheduled at 12:30.
Okay, so we'll take one more for now.
Okay, my name's Bob Halvering, and I live at 5278 West 8th Street Road. I submitted a letter.
We received your letter just before this meeting. They have not seen it yet because
Okay.
I literally received it just before this meeting, but it will
Okay.
be distributed to the board.
Okay, I won't take the time to read it then. But it basically is saying it's floodplain, it floods, many acres in from the river. So it would be a mess to try to put something along the river there. That's where the river is low. I mean, the banks are low. And so the flooding is pretty severe.
that's helpful, that hands-on, boots on the ground type of observation is
Yeah, we've
obviously
lived there for
important to
30
this
years.
study. Yeah,
and
exactly.
It floods several times a year.
Yeah, very good, thank you.
Thanks.
So I will also add, though, if you have not emailed us yet, the email address is Parks Department, ParksDepartment, @madisoncounty.in.gov. Or if you'd like to write your name on the paper up here, name and contact information, as we have the opportunities for public input, we're putting together an email list and we will let you know when it happens. Those who have already emailed us got an email when we had to cancel the last board meeting because of the cleanup from the tornado. So I'm happy to take your contact information and keep you up to date on our meetings and the information that we've got that is available. So.
Do we want to pass it around?
Sorry,
Can't, or we just leave it there. We have to go into the other room.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
very good.
I can grab it after we're done.
Okay.
Okay, I would entertain a motion to adjourn this meeting then.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
A second.
All in favor of adjournment?
Aye.